Welcome to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over! The intro from this video got corrupted, so sadly we have to do it like this, so let's jump right into it. The first thing that will happen in this episode is something that was boiling since the last war ended here in Europe and in North Africa. As we had Dark Magenta, they joined the Southern Pact back then, but people started to deviate from that idea as well. They were mad what the country did, and some of them are now going more south and break away from this country. It is a new country called Honey that joins this world, and it's pretty small in the beginning. They have two major cities, and the most northern one becomes their capital. They also have already a few provinces, and they are fairly much smaller than the ones from Dark Magenta. But this was not the only new country that popped up roughly in this time era, as people from Beige are now also going to go, well, on their own routes. They are not happy what happened here in Beige. The connection between Lavender and Beige is quite almost at a stop now. They do talk to one another like higher people or settlements like here close to each other here near the borders, but other than that their relationship together is kind of forced, as do know that Beige is in the Alliance, the World Destroyer Alliance. But let's take a look where this new country will form. Roughly near in the middle of the country, next to it, we have Pastel Green join this world. It's a quite very small country, if you even compare it to this orange country that popped up, the Honey one. They started really small, and only have one major city that is, well, directly their capital. And there are only two provinces, the southern one and their capital one, or northern one. But this country was going to set up a trade route for their new country. The trade route goes directly through the border and follows closely. This trade route was going to go like this. It follows roughly the sea right here, the lake, and it goes to this settlement. Then it goes further south, goes in the northern border of the country, and goes directly south to the capital. But this country, Honey, also built one for their own, and Dark Magenta, well, did finish it for them. It goes from the capital right here to the tip of the country, north to this settlement, and then it goes directly north, skipping this settlement right here to the left, and it joins up with the capital. It was a very long route, and some people are like, why did you not go to this settlement? But it was for them, at least the builders, far better to just go south directly. Now that we are taking a look at the, well, trade routes, let's see at the new updated ones for America. For the countries such as Magenta and Cyan, they together have just a simple route. One from this settlement to this settlement. And that just, well, doesn't really connect with the rest. At least it does connect with Bronze, but not with the rest of this whole chain. Their route goes something like this, to this settlement of Bronze. Countries such as Red and Yellow also have one, so let's take a look. It goes right here, follows the coast, goes in between these islands, and they go to this northern settlement. This totally doesn't connect up with any other trade routes. And you could say, let's draw a line from America to Europe, for example, for these countries, but that doesn't really happen, as that's the trip to go back home. It is used for a trade route, but also the route is quite different every time. And these countries also have built one. For Orange it goes into this harbor and it follows up the north. And this trade route connects up with these two settlements. And at last for the trade routes, well, these new countries have built one together. As there is, well, a connection with the rest of the world, these four countries, like Cyan, Violet, Mustard, and Peach, have sort of one interconnected trade route. So let's take a look. From Mustard and Violet it goes, well, far south to the two capitals. For light cyan and violet, it goes like this. A very straightforward route. But jade green and light cyan also have one. Jade green built one from the capital to the settlement, and they have made an agreement with pastel orange, which is a fairly large country, but their capital's all the way over here. But they do want to help out their new trade route. So they, well, wanted this trade route to go to this or this settlement. And the two countries agreed. Light cyan built her one right to the left, and it joined this settlement, but it went also to the other one, making this agreement totally worth it. There wasn't one built here, as it was just a far too great gap, and pastel orange could make some profit right here, rather than go to the capital. And yes, it goes to jade green, then deep wine, neon lime, and then to purple, all what comes from these new countries, but they don't really matter. And now the rest for this democratic country. Violet builds one to this settlement and to the other one right here of their country. It crosses the border of Peach and it just goes from settlement to settlement until it reaches the capital of Peach. Now that we have looked at all the new trade routes, let's take a look at this country in the center of your screen, Cyan. We have a few provinces here in the north of Cyan that have looked very long already at what happened here in the country. Many genocides since, well, they cannot remember when it started anymore. Generations upon generations, and these northern provinces are done with it. They are done with Cyan, they are done with what they are doing. And they sent a letter to the king of Cyan and they declare independence. And Cyan, although they have a very large country, you can almost call it an empire, they do let it happen, as they don't want a war start in their borders. So we see a new country popping up. And so we see this country form light pink. But this new formed country quickly got information that green, some of provinces of green, had interest in joining. And well, let's take a look. And so we see this province join light pink, but also these two, making green a little bit smaller. And now light pink will set their capital right there. And what they also do is combining 4 provinces into 2 provinces. They remove this province line together with this one, making these 2 provinces fairly large. And now that we saw this happen, let's go back to the democratic country, Peach, as they are going to develop 2 new things in their country, forgetting more of their past and where they actually came from. Of course, Slate. And Slate now eventually knows about this country, as news got in their country via Lavender, and Lavender sort of knows it from Purple, as there is still a connection right here, also with a trade route that speaks to the outside world via Lavender. But let's take a look at what Peach does first. They have now made a pretty good trade route system with all these countries here. With all these countries right here. These 4. Of course with themselves as well. And what they do is they are creating a way to sell and to buy things more easily with one another. They create a currency, the first made currency of this world, that actually is used by multiple countries. And of course there are already currencies around the world, such as Orange uses coins with the head of their king on it at the times. But now a group of countries are going to use the same currency, making this the first economic alliance is going to pop up. The Star Economic Alliance. Violet joins it, Light Cyan joins it, and Mustard joins it. And Pastel Orange is also getting the invitation to do so, but they doubt a little bit, as they have close relationships with Purple and Neon Lime, and they are in the Shield Pact, and the Shield Pact doesn't really do anything like this yet. And also let's take a look at the religion, as we have all these countries here following the blue religion, but Peach following the slate religion or the lavender's religion. But they don't want it anymore. They created their own religion, following their law book, and they believe that the law book idea was spread into a human head because of a certain god. And that's made into the Peach religion. But a few countries are joining this religion. The three that are right here: Mustard, Violet and Light Cyan. And they all join this religion. And the last thing that we will take a look at today is Silver and Dark Blue. After the War of Night Blue, the fall of Night Blue, the countries surrounding it are at peace with Silver. It's a very kind country and it just does anything what it wants, but doesn't attack any other country. It doesn't bother with anything else. It's just its own new territory. But there is a very large but, as Dark Blue has had enough of their upper neighbor. They still believe that something is boiling inside this country and they want it to be gone. They set up some troops alongside their border and they are going to attack Silver. We see troops of Blue entering Silver's territory, and Silver doesn't have that much troops to work with in this war. The army is very weak and very, well, small. Blue is quickly at cutting off the western part with the eastern part, and there are just two major land grabs now. The first batch of provinces are taken in a matter of a few weeks. No one is standing a chance anymore against Blue, as they have prepared a lot to remove their northern rival. After the eastern part is already taken, we finally see a counterattack from Silver, but they are far too late, as Dark Blue is marching towards the capital via the south. Some troops are held back, and a good amount of the troops are getting killed. But they are no match for Blue, and they quickly again take over every front. It's getting larger and larger, and then the capital falls into the hands of Dark Blue, which quickly let the Silver country surrender over to Dark Blue. The country was very new and still working up to what they eventually could be, their new potential. Night Blue was gone, but Silver was in its place, but Dark Blue was here to strike. And they did that all because of one thing: destroying this capital and getting Old Land back.